Hi, welcome to valuationpodcast.com, a podcast and video series about all things related to business and valuation. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I provide online divorce mediation and valuation services in St. Louis, Missouri. Today, we will discuss expert witness integrity and neutrality in litigation with Zachary Meyers, a CVA and CPA in Winfield, West Virginia. He's testified and been qualified as an expert in the forensic accounting, taxation, business valuation, pension valuation fields specific to civil, marital, and criminal litigation. We're supposed to be neutral, and why is it that we're supposed to be neutral? Well, as an expert, it is our responsibility to protect the neutrality. It is our responsibility to protect our reputation and our integrity. And the only way to do that is to do the job and to not allow the client or attorney to dictate how you're going to do it. But do you think that people actually see us as neutral? Or because that's what we're supposed to be, but are we really considered neutral? Are we considered part of that team, that side? Oh, you're for the wife, you're for the husband, you're for the partner. How do we continue to maintain that neutrality?
Yeah, it's very hard to do at times, but I think that ultimately your client sees you for what you are. So if you're the type of expert that the client knows if they want a high number or they want a low number, or they just want a number that they want you to testify to, if you're the type of expert that basically is a hired gun and they can pay you to say whatever they want you to say, they're going to see you as that. I take pride in, I'd like to think at least that my clients call me when they want to know not, what the high number or low number is, but rather what the right number is. Mm-hmm. And I think if you're that type of expert and you're neutral and no matter what, you want to be, it's tricky because you're talking about people that are going to be either retaining you or not retaining you in the future. So a lot of people take the easy route and just, testify or say whatever the client wants them to say. And then I'm assuming they, believe that it's going to get them ongoing, cases in the future. But in reality, if the lawyer sees that you're like that, they're not going to really respect you. And heaven forbid you actually end up on the other side of a case against that lawyer who knows that in a case 2 years ago they basically paid you to say whatever they wanted you to say, and they're going to probably assume you're doing the same thing in the new case. Mm-hmm. So you got to be really careful, and I think the judges see it too. And I think it's important that people stay mindful of that because anytime you're an expert in court, you got multiple parties that are, your witnesses. They're watching you, and so you have, your client, opposing counsel. You have a judge and sometimes a jury. The judges can oftentimes be a very good source of recommendations. Those are the ones that are going to be like appointing you as a joint expert, or even allowing you, if it's suggested to be a joint expert. They're the ones that are either going to say yay or nay, or not even consider it. And so I think judges pay a lot. They have the hardest job in the courtroom. And I think that they take note of those experts that literally come up with the biggest bunch of crap in every case and have no integrity. The judges notice that. Mm-hmm. But I think that it is hard. And it's especially hard, especially like during a pandemic because, the pressure, financial pressures, sometimes lawyers may take longer to pay, things like that. And in times like this, I think it's probably more likely that some people may, succumb to unethical behavior, I would venture to say. But it's even more important now to be not, as ethical as you've always been, but even more so. Because I think that the stakes are higher. And I think everyone's paying attention. And you're right. It is a very, very difficult thing sometimes because literally sometimes what you have to say is not what your client wants to hear, but you have to take that approach. You have to be unimpeachably neutral because if you don't, trust me, you'll be the first one that they throw under the bus when the case goes bad. Mm-hmm. Even if you testified exactly what they told you to say. Whenever things go bad, you'll get thrown under the bus, and you don't have any integrity. I mean, really, all they do is they pay us for our opinion and our integrity and the strength of our testimony. I mean, that's all we got. That's what we're selling.
Right. And I think that, it's important to understand that a lot of times our clients, which seem to be the business owners or, the parties, the husband or the wife, or even in a partner dispute or other type of litigation, it could seem to be that person, that company. And the reality is a lot of times our consistent client is the attorneys and the judges. And, so typically I will try to tell people, like, I understand that this is your first time or only time getting divorced. I totally understand. But you have to understand that the judges and the attorneys do this every day, and they're going to see through, the story that you present. If the financials aren't logic, to me, I think judges always default on logic. Like, does it make sense? Could it be possible that the company is worth $1 million when they have $2 million of cash in the bank? Just in general. Does it make sense that that would be true? And so a lot of times we're trying to take the financials and tell the story from the reality as opposed to what story we want them to believe. And I think that most of the time I'm trying to tell people, I'm trying to create a value that if both of you took this to another person who understands valuations, if they took Melissa's report to Zach, right? Zach has to be able to say, seems reasonable. Yes, I would do things different. Or maybe it could have been higher or lower in this area, right? An assumption could be different. But for the most part, it's reasonable.